we go, Windsor fight fans. The following contest is being brought to you by Liuna 625, Evola Home Builders, and Rycor Countertops. Scheduled for 3 rounds in the lightweight division. Here are your fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks, standing 5 feet 11 inches tall, he weighed in at 154.6 pounds. He comes to the cage representing Big Country MMA for his professional debut fight tonight. Fighting out of Lindsay, Ontario, Canada, by way of Mattawa, Ontario, ladies and gentlemen, here is Justin King Condie. His opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks trimmed in gray. Standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, he weighed in at 154.8 pounds. He comes to the cage representing Maximum Training Center, undefeated with a record of 1 win and no losses. Fighting out of and representing Windsor, Ontario, ladies and gentlemen, here is Justin Taveirne. Referee Matthew Rocca with fight instruction.
All right, we went over the rules in the back. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions at all times. If you want to touch gloves, do so now. Make your way back to your corners.
This PFC contest will be decided in 3 rounds or less.
Right, just touch him up, right? Touch him up.
Range, smart, distance.
Kara, this one is going to be interesting. Can Condie overcome the camp that Taveirne comes out of?
So Condie out of Lindsay in the blue, and we're seeing Taveirne in the red. Right away, you know, kind of feeling each other out, trying to find the range, looking to chop the legs a little bit and just make him pretty aware of it. But answering with a nice kick to the body.
And when you look at this, essentially with 2 fighters, one that hasn't fought professionally in 10 years, one making his professional debut, what does that do for their headspace, stepping into what is essentially new territory?
Well, I think it's a bit trickier sometimes when you're in front of your home crowd. You have the energy of them, but that's a lot of pressure to sit here for your pro debut. Landing very similar shots. I think same instructions coming out. Hey, soften them up. Go to that leg, go to that body. And they both kind of come forward with the same instructions. Oh, that was beautiful. Taveirne sitting in the pocket, landing that straight right, and he's doing a good job of just like walking him down, plodding forward.
Both fighters starting out of the orthodox stance as well. We haven't really seen anybody switch up yet.
Well, no, I think that the position of Taveirne, I mean, he's waiting, he's looking to counter. He's one of those, and he does well just sitting in the pocket. And there it is, that right hand again, dropping Condie. And I mean, if he's got to be smart about finishing it here. You can see the eyes of Condie a little bit shocked and comes back strong, sending a message. Oh, another right hand. This is where if you are in the corner of Condie, you better tell him to keep that hand up. He's got to stop. He's pivoting his hand up and down in a rhythmic fashion. He's got to watch that.
How much time do you think it would take somebody like Condie to be able to recover, and maybe he already has, from the heavy shot?
The heavy shot to the head you can recover relatively quickly. If that was a body shot, though, he'd be feeling that still right now. It's just he rotates that left arm up and down, or it's easy to time that with your right hand. This is the thing, he's got to start incorporating some more feints so he can draw out that counter from Taveirne, and he's not feinting at all, so he's not really drawing that counter.
And you can see Taveirne more than willing to load up that right hand.
Yeah, when you've had so much success, right, you just have to watch it. You just don't go to that constantly because you've had success. You got to mix it up.
Condie's still trying to walk him down, still showing a lot of confidence.
You know, and again, drops him because his feet are planted when he's landing these shots. These are 4-ounce gloves, so I mean, it's going to have a lot more impact when you land and your feet are planted.
Can Condie switch this up a little bit in terms of working his more Muay Thai style as opposed to just straight forward and back?
Well, he's got to start using some feints more to get off more shots, and just using that, like you said, like that length. Use the feint, use your length, and then don't let him come in.
Yeah, that time he just backed out of the way. He let Taveirne come forward, but he wasn't able to land anything on the back end.
And this is more what I would typically see of a MTC fighter, the Taveirne style, like plodding forward, solid, unafraid, you know, but he's starting to drop his hands now. He's got to be careful because I could see Condie, bring up a big heavy head kick.
Condie doesn't look like he's lost a whole lot of initiative so far, despite having that knockdown, or at least backed up to the fence.
Well, he's continuing to have movement, and I think sometimes that's why some of the punches are feeling a bit heavier too. When you're moving a lot, you just don't have that base.
That time Taveirne stepped in. He looked like he may have been initially thinking takedown and then sort of backed away from it, thought he could maybe land something on the way out.
And this is where, if we had Condie, if he was circling right a little bit more, away from that right hand and throwing his jab, he'd start to find his range a little bit.
Justin Condie still trying to walk Justin Taveirne down. Not landing a ton, but at least he's pressuring. He's bringing that forward. Well, that time Taveirne answering back.
The problem is, I would say, with Taveirne is he's kind of abandoned his kicks. Like, he started out kicking, which made Condie not think about his hands so much, but now he's like hand crazy and head hunting because of the success.
And despite that success, when you go away from what got you there, that can be an issue, although mixing it up there.
Yeah, mixing it up, but following up with the right hand. I mean, still a great fight and outing for both these guys as a pro debut. I mean, this is high level what we're watching.
And this is the interesting part of this round, Kara, because how are the judges going to look at the constant pressure from Justin Condie? He's continuing to walk Justin Taveirne down.
Yeah, which is a switch. The first half, it was a little bit more, Taveirne was moving forward, sitting in the pocket, looking to counter, and now they've switched things up a little bit, whether that's a little bit of fatigue, or nerves. But it's one of those, with what we've seen Taveirne do with his hands, I mean, you have to always be cautious of what he's going to do.
10 seconds left in the first round. Spinning back fist attempt as Taveirne flashed forward.
Yeah.
That Superman punch nearly grazing, but a really solid first round on both sides. Taveirne started off strong, and then we saw Condie come on later in the round. Is it that knockdown into the fence that maybe edged around for Taveirne?
Yeah, I think he got hit with too many clean right hands. I think early on they were exchanging blows and doing well, but I think that's what has to. I think I would give that definitely to Taveirne. But things like, as you said, the momentum was shifting when it came to the end of that round. And again, that might be a little bit of fatigue from Taveirne, and we'll see if he can come out stronger the second round. I think he can go back to that, just sitting and countering. But he's got to bring his kicks back again. That happens all the time. You see, once somebody knocks somebody out, they go in there and load up on all their shots. They want to see that again, but you have to go back to what works.
Now, being in that MTC corner for Taveirne, you got to believe that they are going to be able to calm him down, settle him back in, and bring him back to the beginning of the game plan. You got to think Condie, for the latter half of that round, pulls some momentum moving forward because he was able to do some damage to walk down and gave himself an opening in that first round.
Well, he recovered really well from those right hands. And that's, like I was mentioning before, the Muay Thai experience where they're used to, I'm getting hit, but I'm giving a shot back.
Both men looking to take center cage. And again, you see Condie starting to walk back. Taveirne stepping back to the kicks.
And yes, that definitely the instruction from his corner, go back to, kicking those legs, kicking those legs.
Condie with one of his own.
I think if I'm looking at this guy, so tall in front of me, I'm going to keep my hands up a little bit more. He's rotating his hands to his hips a bit. But doing well with that right hand, once he starts following up, he'll have a lot more success, even doubling up that right hand.
Taveirne throwing a lot of feints at the moment.
And you're already seeing the impact of some of those leg kicks on Condie. The leg already turning red. And that's where Taverne's got to go right back to those leg kicks.
You just watch the motion of the hands of Taveirne, following it up, feigning with the kicks, but he's showing a lot of options to Condie. Is that maybe trying to throw several and see what's left open?
I like the way that Taveirne is starting to put combinations together again. And I think that's where, we know that Condie has a Muay Thai background. He's got to just stay long and look for some of those head kicks too, because Taverne's hands are so low often.
Again, Taveirne keeps trying to push back. Condie not landing a lot clean, but he's staying right in there, and it feels like he's just an inch or two off.
Yeah.
Although Taveirne drives him straight down and looking to go right for the back. Nice scramble from Condie to get back to a 50-50 position. Taveirne rolls through. Condie ends up on top.
They're just so slippery at this point. They're having trouble securing anything.
Now Condie sitting in that front chancery type position, looking to spin around for the back. Looks like he may be going for a rear naked choke, but he doesn't really have the position to be able to do it. Taveirne's gonna have to battle his way through. His best option is to get back to his feet and spin in.
He has just got to make sure he protects himself. And I'm surprised that Condie's not throwing knees as much, you know, and trying to soften him on the
Nice
cage.
job from both.
You know, but that's a different energy system. So you see kind of the both mouths of gas, you know, after that type of grappling and going right back to the body. And this is where, you know, they had a lot of success against each other in the beginning.
And we knew about Condie's Muay Thai background, kickboxing background coming into this fight, but he just showed he's got skills on the ground. At this point, Carol, we're almost looking at two very similar fighters.
Yeah, but you have one that, you know, like Taveirne, who wants to sit in the pocket and land some of those heavy shots, and that's why Condie has to be a little cautious of sometimes some of the higher kicks, because you don't want to see him dump you on your butt when you do that.
Condie loaded that one up, and he may have telegraphed that a little bit.
Well, he needs to do that. He needs to start kicking from outside of that range. He's kind of moving into Taverne's range, and he doesn't need to. He's a lot longer, and that's why he gets countered with that right hand often.
What do you think of those short leg kicks from Taveirne? He's beaten up on the front leg in the calf area on Condie.
And those calf shots are painful. I mean, those are hard to recover from. You start to notice that you just don't have the mobility that you once did earlier in the fight. See, Taverne's got a, yeah, there's that shot. It's just sitting in the pocket, and he looks, I think this is going to be over.
Condie's in big trouble. Taverne's going to roll him through. Condie's still fighting to stay alive. Look at the beautiful execution by Taveirne to get the arm.
Yeah, Taveirne doing a great job of trying to isolate and make sure these shots are clear. He did everything he was supposed to do at that point in terms of things, high volume, you know, trying to get that referee to stop it. But again, success with that right hand sitting in the pocket drops Condie.
Crucifix position here, but it's going to be tough to finish from this angle. If Taveirne can roll him over to his back, he's going to have a better chance. Now Condie scrambles out.
And is looking for a guillotine, jumps up right to the submission. And he should be kneeing here. I mean, he doesn't have 3 points down. This is where he's got to start bringing the knees.
Boy, right on cue. Taveirne answered back with one of his own. Condie looking to take him back down.
Well, at this point, Taveirne is like, you don't know how much someone is gassed from, you know, trying to take somebody out of there, right? Like ground and pound, the high intensity, the crucifix at the same time.
And that crucifix position is just a miserable one to be in. There's nothing you can do, and you're just feeling it. Condie had to get out of it. He pulled it off. 10 seconds left in the round.
He should be kneeing a lot more. You know, he's worrying about keeping him down, but he's just got to keep softening him up.
He got a couple in on the end, but again, it came down to a big shot landed by Taveirne that put him in control of the round. Really the only control we saw taken in that round for the second time was Justin Taveirne.
You know, and it's pretty, we've kind of seen something very similar, even though it was completely different than the first round, but in terms of who was in control, who was scoring the most points. I mean, those big right hands, and he was landing a few jabs, Taveirne, during that fight as well, but I mean, Condie came back like he had no damage from the first round. They came back just as strong. So, I mean, it would be tough to score these rounds just because you kind of say, well, who left that impression in my mind? But with that Condie being dropped and then, you know, crucifixed and taking some clean shots, I mean, it could have been any moment there that the referee stopped the fight.
Seconds out. Here we go, Windsor, make some noise. This is the third and final round in your matchup.
Condie was not on the edge of going out. And those short shots aren't going to put him out. You've just got to hope that the official is going to say he's defenseless and call it off from that position.
This is our third and final round. So we have Condie in the blue. We have Taveirne in the red. And on anyone's cards, it could be 2-0. It could be 1-1. I think, you know, it's not necessarily a clean shutout.
There's definitely Something to be decided is.
It's hopefully these guys stay focused. There's a little bit of tussle in the crowd, and both fighters looked out. You've got to stay focused. Some leg kicks again, and I really think they both came in here with a very similar game plan. Condie needs to use his range a little bit more, and I think Taveirne needs to just keep attacking that body, sitting in the pocket, and landing those shots.
Yeah, Taveirne trying to step in, but Condie, again, walking him back down, lands a kick. He's showing he's not going to step out of this fight.
Yeah, we're going to, Condie's corner really wants him to keep pressing him, pushing him back, making him back up. Because typically, Taveirne, when you see him have success, he's coming forward. He doesn't typically fight backing up, right? So I think Condie is trying to just make sure he's in a position where he doesn't feel comfortable on offense. But Taveirne's just got to start, picking up the pace. He's done so well these first 2 rounds with that high intensity, rolling in, dropping that 2.
Oh, nice job there. Straight left, right through.
Right, but he needs to follow it up with a kick. You know what I mean? He's pushing Condie back. He's got to follow up with a kick at that point.
The offense not coming in bunches anymore. It's one at a time and then back out.
Yeah. And this is where it's going to just be, the big head kick. And this is what I was expecting earlier in the round from Condie.
That flying knee connected.
We'll see if Taveirne can, just grit it out at this point.
Condie was looking for a guillotine. He had to abandon it because he couldn't slide the second hand through. Now jumping to the back. That was seamless from Condie. And he's going to hammer down.
And it's tricky when you have a longer guy on top of you like that looking for submissions.
Taveirne trying to create a little bit of time to at least get himself back together here, as Condie looking to keep the pressure on and does just that with the elbows.
Well, and it's funny, he kind of dropped him with that front leg kick, and this is the one I was expecting him to do earlier because Taveirne was dropping his right hand a lot. He was very open for head kicks, but it took until the 3rd round for Condie to let one go.
And now getting him to the back. Condie squeezing, looking for the rear naked choke finish.
But these guys should have been in this position a million times, so he should be able to defend this off. So we'll see. Oh, it looks like it's deep now. It's deep.
Condie may have him out. Taveirne may be out. He is out.
Yeah. Dangerous on Condie because he did have his feet crossed, but at that point, Taveirne was already out, and he actually could have been down 2 rounds by this point. So if his corner said, hey, you got to go for broke, he did that.
Don't call it a comeback. Justin Condie was in it the whole time, and he proves it at the end. He'll get the rear naked choke submission finish.
And this is huge for these guys because not only their pro debut, but coming, facing such a tough opponent. Both of these guys, outstanding. As you said, Taveirne having a fight about 10 years ago, but for us, it's kind of basically back to square one.
Well, and these are 2 guys that I would be absolutely happy to see do this again. As Condie and Taveirne with a brilliant fight. It goes all the way through into the 3rd round. And it'll be Justin Condie who's going to walk away with the rear naked choke submission victory. He may have been down 2-0 on the cards, but in the end, he finds a way. It was that high kick that started it. The flying knee continued, and once it got to the ground, Taveirne was just never able to get into an advantageous position again. And you can see the sheer emotion on Justin Condie. Boy, he had to fight off momentum. He had to fight off a tough opponent in Taveirne. It looked like everything was going in Taverne's way, and Justin Condie was able to swing it back around. Very impressive for his professional debut.
Ladies and
back
gentlemen,
into the cage.
let's have a big round of applause for both of the fighters in this cage. This fight came to an end at 2 minutes, 45 seconds of the 3rd round for your winner by rear naked choke submission, Justin King Condie.
All right, Justin, congratulations. That was a fantastic fight on both of your parts. He was a tough opponent. What are your thoughts on that fight?
You know, I've been known as a well-known striker for years. And, you know, I had a couple goes with MMA and my grappling and jiu-jitsu was horrible. So I took the last couple of years and just focused hard on the wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and it showed here tonight. I'm a well-known striker. I put the time in. I earned my place to be here. And for anyone out there who thought I was gonna lose this and never fucking counts me out again, I will fucking crush you. Don't fucking duck me.
You know, it's interesting. You said you're a striker, and most people want to come in here and knock somebody out, but for you, the fact that you worked on your ground game, did it feel good coming off with a submission win?
You know, I had a lot of confidence. He took me down, and I reversed that position right away, and I had confidence. Once I had that confidence, you know, like I could reverse him, I started letting go a little bit more. My striking. I know, I just want to thank Joe Elliott, James Clark, Corey Jackson. You know, they've helped me so much, and you know, it takes a team. Well, we're in here alone, but it takes a team to build you. And if it isn't for those guys, I wouldn't be able to perform the way I do here. So they deserve just as much of applause as I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.